During my early childhood, I had a Game Boy. With it, I had Super Mario 3 Advance, an absolute classic. With so many unique levels and secrets to find, that game sure kept me busy as a kid. I loved that game when I was young, and still to this day. I love the overworld maps, I love the levels, I love that little jingle that plays every time you beat a boss. This game holds a soft spot in my heart. I also had Pokemon Fire Red, which is a game I still haven't beaten. I was around 10 at the time when I first got it, and I was stupid enough to only have 2 Pokemon on my team. One being a Charizard that mostly had HM moves, and the other being a Pikachu. I had trouble on the 3rd gym, and after my 100th time trying to beat it, I just gave up. Mario Pinball, a really fun Mario spin-off game. It's Mario, but in pinball form, but the game plays out like any other Mario game. Secrets to find, bosses to fight, items to get, stars to nab. It has all the elements of a traditional Mario game, but with the added bonus of it being pinball. This game is really good, and I recommend you give it a try if you like pinball or Mario. I had a lot of other Game Boy games too besides those, and all were good for the most part. Except one dreaded game. One horrible game that just sucked the life out of me. A game that is probably the worst Game Boy game imaginable. I give you Cartoon Network Block Party.
Ro, did you just say Cartoon Network Block Party?
Yes, I did.
I gotta get the hell out of here. Scooby-Doo!
Good thinking, Scoob, because things are about to get ugly.
Holy.
I like 'em big, I like 'em chunky, I like 'em big, I like 'em plumpy.
What?
Cartoon Network Block Party. The game starts you off with seeing Courage, Johnny Bravo, and Cow. And just look how they massacred Johnny's face.
Oh, mama.
The game gives you the option to start a new game, resume game, which you can only do if you wrote down the password after you paused your play session, options, minigames, and credits. Right off the bat, you can play as Courage, Eddie, Sarah, Cow and Chicken, and Johnny Bravo. You have the choice to choose Quick Play that lets you play one of these boards, each being themed after a character in the game. You got Tater Farm for Cow and Chicken, Extreme Cul-de-sac for Eddie and Sarah, Planet Johnnywood for Johnny Bravo, and Cat's Creepy Castle for Courage. You can do one of these or have the choice to torture yourself and play the tournament mode. That makes you go through all the boards all having their own stories. The stories being completely stupid to begin with. Take Johnny Bravo's board, in it you need to grab certain items to help Carl on his date. Things he'll need and get this, are a pie, hair goo, corn dog, and a black t-shirt. Huh? Fine. Look, I'll be honest. If I was on a date and all of a sudden they decide to pull a pie out of their pocket to share, I'll be fine with that, since I'm a huge sucker for sweets. But then they pull a corn dog out of their pocket, and that'll start to raise some red flags. There's also Courage board that requires 3 spiders and 75 cobwebs to save Muriel and Eustace from cats. Which, that doesn't really make any sense. How's Courage supposed to save them with just that?
She won't be needing that anymore. Let's throw it away.
But, whatever. The story of the board shouldn't matter. It's the actual board itself that should be the main focus, right? So, how are they? Well, they suck. And it's not what you think it is. It doesn't have to do with the limitation of the Game Boy. It has to do with the fact that there's no clear indication at all on what you have to do to beat the boards. Well, let me step back. That's not completely true. Before any game, it does tell you what you have to get in order to beat the board, like get 4 pork butts for Count Chicken stage or 3 trophies for Ed, and Eddie stage. But it doesn't tell you on how to get them. And for first-time players, this can be very frustrating, because you don't know what spaces you need to land, or what minigames you need to beat in order to get the MacGuffin. First time replaying this, I figured out you could steal pork butts from random players if you land on these blue spaces next to the devil. And for a while, I thought this was the only way to get them. It was not until close to the end of the game I realized you can also get them by landing on these blue spaces on what seems to look like a chicken coop. Yeah, you can buy pork butts from a chicken coop. Which I mean, why? I'm more confused than frustrated, to be honest. I mean, why couldn't it have been a pig pen or a space that showed a picture of a pork butt? Or better yet, a sign that said, "Get your steaming pile of pork butts here." Any of those would have been clearer than this. All boards are like this, and it's just a pain to figure out what you have to do or where you have to go in order to beat the stage. You can also get items necessary to beat the board by beating certain minigames. Each board has different minigames you need to beat in order to get said item for that board, and it's a matter of trial and error to figure out which minigame gives you said item. Yeah, in hindsight, they kind of make sense. Beat this pig catching minigame on cow and chicken board to get a pork butt, or beat this bat game to get a spider for courage stage. But for first timers, you wouldn't know this was the way to get certain items unless you play the game as long as I have. This in itself is bad game design. Not letting the players know how to beat a simple stage, making them go all over the board and trying everything until they finally get it. Look, I'm not asking the game to lay out everything in front of me. Just a simple task of saying what I have to do gameplay wise in order to beat the level. There's a huge issue with the game, but to be honest, that's not even the worst part. No, that has to do with the minigames themselves. These minigames are dull and require no thought whatsoever. Move the slingshot around to hit the character, move the slingshot around to hit the fire, run around and avoid the objects to collect money, run around and avoid the moles to collect money, click everything around you in order to find the missing people, race around a boring track, run through traffic.
Hey, I'm ready.
The list goes on. These minigames are no fun to play because there's no real skills involved, and plus they have no interesting theme around them. I mean, this is supposed to be a Cartoon Network game for crying out loud, so why not have cartoon-inspired minigames? Like helping Ed, Edd and Eddy Craze scheme to get money in order to buy Jawbreakers, or maybe a Great Eggplant Simon Says minigame. Johnny Bravo's sport minigame might be nice, or a rhythm game based on his dance moves would be pretty cool. You can also have a minigame where you have to carry Muriel, and have to reach the end of the goal by avoiding obstacles and baddies. I think that would be pretty fun. I'm clearly spitballing here, but you can see it's not that hard to make these minigames more thematic. Only a few barely fit the bill of resembling something Cartoon Network related, and the rest are basic Flash games you can find online. These games are bad, and the worst part is that you'll be playing the same minigames over and over again. There only being 14 of them. Yeah, only 14. Jeez, even Courage is depressed by this paltry line of minigames. There's plenty of other bullshit in this game, like how some spaces send you back just so you can land on reroll space, negating the backspace in the first place. The long and tedious Johnny Bravo stage where you need to land on different spaces for each item you need to complete the board, making it to where if you miss a space you have to go around the entire board again to grab it. Being stuck with the same characters if you're playing single player, being Eddie, Sarah, and Cal in that order. The collision detection sucks for some minigames. And of course, staring at Cal's butt for most of your playthrough is a pain in the
Adam! What? I was gonna say next.
Oh, that's okay then.
My gym partner is a monkey.
Monkey!
But you want to know what's the kicker here? After you complete the game in tournament mode and beat all the stages, you get nothing. No extra minigames, no boards, not even more characters. You get absolutely nothing for beating the game. I decided to beat this entire game and got nothing out of it. Just disappointment. Cartoon Network Cock Party sucks, and I recommend no one play this game. Unless you want to be bored out of your mind. Play Mario Pinball instead. It's fun, challenging, and varied. Thank you guys for watching my video. Subscribe if you want to see more. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it. And yeah, see you guys next time.